Father's Day present, so I decided to open it as a video. It's a big sack. I don't know what all's in it, but it is heavy. It's from all three of my kids, and my daughter and her husband brought it over yesterday, and I decided that I would do a grand opening for a video. It would be a little bit something different. Okay, the first thing in here is a card, a nice big card. I've already opened it, but I haven't looked at it yet. And it says, "Happy Father's Day from us." It doesn't take a special occasion to tell you how important you are, but one of the best things about Father's Day is the chance to say it again. You mean more than words could ever say. We love you. Steve, Lisa, and Kara. Nice card. Appreciate that. My wife is a card collector. I don't have any special place I put cards, but she saves every card, and she's a card saver. Someday the world will turn upside down, and it'll be caused by the weight of accumulated cards that people have saved. Now I reach over here in this bag and come up with glazed pecan. Now these are delicious. It says best by 7/18/21. Well, I'm just going to make it. But I love glazed pecans. Let's see the next thing. There's some big tops of bottles here. Oh. Yeah, it feels like they sent me a brick. Well, there's a whole good bag, and I'll get to the bag with other stuff in it. Uncle Buck's Cabin Mix. It looks kind of like Chex Mix. Well, here's the phone, so I'm going to hang up and answer the phone. Well, that was my daughter in Colorado calling to wish me a happy birthday, or a Father's Day, and I was talking about this container here of Uncle Buck's Cabin Mix from Bass Pro. They went to the big dollar place. 24 ounces, lots of goodies in there. Phil did the shopping. He's a Bass Pro man. He doesn't fish. He doesn't do it. He just barely plays golf. But well, I've got some more Uncle Beans, but this is caramel popcorn. I love caramel corn. That's a pound container. And it's got nuts in it and popcorn and all kinds of goodies. This is a heavy can. It's all Uncle Ben's. Salted cashews. Pieces. Why pay extra money to buy whole cashews when the first chunk turns them into pieces? The only thing that I learned about it on my last can of cashews is don't eat too many of them. They're laxative. They'll set you free. 20-ounce pack. You know, when I worked for Sears, every weekend there was a boy out on the center aisle with a dish of cashew nuts and a nice teaspoon. And everybody came walking down the aisle, he would give them one cashew nut. And you know the old rule, there is no way you can eat only one cashew nut. And you'd go from there to the candy counter, and that store had the highest producing candy counter of any Sears retail store. And they had their own cooker there. And by the way, cashew nuts, as they grow, which is on the outside of the fruit. It and strawberry is the only thing that's grown on the outside of the fruit. And cashew nuts grow out the bottom, little things. It kind of looks like a shrimp platter upside down. But they're toxic until they're cooked, and they have to be deep fried. I don't know how long, to remove the toxicity that if you just have raw cashew nuts, they're dangerous to eat. Big can of cashew nuts. There's something else. Southwest Canyon snack mix. Oh, that's kind of like that cabin mix over here. Well, no, it's got more nuts in it and different nuts, and it's got some green seeds in it, probably soybeans. I'm sure it's going to be good. I had a guy one time say, "You ought to take a shotgun to that damn clock." I told him if I did, Frida take a shotgun to me. Oh, and another here, sweet and nutty snack mix. Oh, this has the M&Ms and raisins and peanuts and some other almonds. That looks good. You know, I love nuts, and they will keep. They do very well. So that's my Father's Day gift from my kids, and they couldn't have picked something any better than that. And while we're on the subject of fathers, I want to talk about my father. He was born in 1892 in the area of where Fort Hood is now. They're changing the name because he was named for a Southern general, so they got to change history to fit their present day wishes. It's ridiculous what they're doing. But he was born there, and his family and the Archers, my grandfather married one of the Archer daughters. The Archers had 21 kids. John McCordy Archer did. It took him 2 wives to have that many. But my grandmother was one of them. But when John McCordy decided to migrate from Bell County, Texas to the Panhandle, it was quite an operation. I saw a letter about it. They left there with 90 people, 20 wagons, 200 head of horses, 300 head of cattle, a lot of pigs and everything. And what they would do is send out a scouting party ahead of the main body to go out several days ahead, locate water sources, places to camp. A wagon train like that, if it could move 8 miles in a day, that was unusual, because to get everything moving and move till dark, they didn't move very fast. Walking speed was that for the oxen that pulled the wagons. But they would go out ahead and scout camping spots and send people back to tell the main body how far to go and where they could camp. And they spent 3 years on the trip from Texas to the Panhandle. And my dad was along in the group, and then my dad and his father, his family, they went on ahead a couple of years. When the Archers settled for winter, they went on up and crossed the river the Canadian River and settled in a half dugout dug into the wall of a creek there called Cottonwood Creek. And this picture is of the family, and my dad is the boy seated there in the middle. He was about eight years old at the time. And that was the first place that my direct family settled in the Panhandle in 1898, I believe it was. This second picture is of my dad when he was about 15 or 16 years old. He and his dad had a difference of opinion when he was on his 13th birthday, and evidently his dad gave him quite a beating with a razor strap, so he decided that life would be better somewhere else. So after dark he saddled the best horse that they had, the best saddle they had, and put his clothes in a pillowcase, and as he rode out the corral door, his mother handed him a pillowcase with some food and says, come back if you ever want to. And that would have been in about 1908. Well, he traveled west and southwest in Texas and finally wound up working for the Spur Ranch down in Dickens County. And I came across this picture credited to the Spur Ranch, in checking it closely, that's him sitting there, the slender kid with the dark shirt on. And the rest of the cowboys. And this next picture was he and my mother in front of the house in which I was born after it was moved into Stinnett. And I don't know who the guy is with him, probably one of the cousins or something. I don't recognize him. It was taken when I was in Korea, so not sure who it was. And this final picture was one that I shot of him using natural light when I was learning how to do photography. And considering the camera that I had available, I thought I did a pretty good natural light photo of him. And that's my entire stock of photos of my dad. Caught up by 1900 and settled 30 miles north of there up on the plains, up in the flat country. They already had some other relatives who had crossed ahead of them, and one of them was named Wittenberg. He had formed the Turkey Track Ranch just across the river there at Plymouth. There was only 3 crossings of the Canadian River that cut completely across the panhandle of Texas. Tascosa over on the west side, Plymouth there in the middle, and Canadian down just before it went into Oklahoma. And the safest and most often used was the Plymouth crossing, and the little town of Plymouth sprung up on the Wittenberg Ranch, the Turkey Track Ranch, right at the end of the crossing. And it was 2 miles from there to where my grandfather had settled into the cabin. And when the main family herd of the Archers arrived and started settling up on the Panhandle, there was only about 3 other families settled in that area at all, and the closest shopping was in town of Channing, 32 miles away. So you see how far they had to travel for supplies and things like that. And there is a video, not mine, I wish it was, called "The Archer is the Name," and the link to it will be in the description. You should see that, because it tells the story of settling of the Panhandle. And one of the other families was named Holt, and then Harbor was the third family settled right there in that area. And ironically, my son-in-law's name is Harbor. He's one of the direct descendants of that group. Of course, there was intermarriage between the various families. If you only have 3 families, there's not many choices there. But I'm having a fantastic Father's Day, and God bless Texas, God bless America, and you folks have a fantastic day. Bye.